Good morning, sunshine! Today we have a bit of a quick illustration, but I honestly love the final result so much, so I just had to share it. If you aren't aware, I'm a big fantasy nerd. I read a ton of fantasy books, I watch fantasy movies, I play fantasy games. I've been this way since I was very young and I just never gotten tired of it. And one of the things in fantasy I like the most are wizards and witches. So today, in that spirit, I'm drawing a wizard. Originally, this was just me wanting to draw a wizard because I don't draw enough males and I wanted my new sketchbook to have a tiny bit of variety. I wasn't going to make it into a YouTube video, but by the time I finished the sketch and decided on a color palette, I just loved it so much and I thought, well, this is probably gonna end up being something I really like and I'm really proud of, so why not share it with YouTube? So I started filming. I apologize for the sheet of paper flip-flopping around the video. It's a bit hard to watch. It's just that this sketchbook does not sit flat at all. If I had known this was going to be a video ahead of time, I would have drawn it on the other page, but oh well. In the future, I'll get myself the little pinchy tools to hold the sheet still, and that should also help. For supplies, I am using my render sketchbook as well as a combination of my Prismacolor Premier markers and my Touch 5 markers. I'm also using Micron pens for the line art and a Sakura white jelly roll for the highlights at the end. I think my wizard looks pretty cool. I especially like his hood and the color palette for his outfit. Blue and yellow just look so good and magical together. I've been working on a lot of color theory and trying to limit my palette. So in a way, this is what I try to do here by limiting it to blues, yellows, and grays. I think limiting my color palette is a bit harder with markers because most of my colors are super saturated. What would be ideal is using one saturated color in combination with opposing desaturated tones, but with a medium where you can't mix colors, it's kind of hard. I recently bought gouache and I should eventually have videos where I show you my first impressions and I learned to use it, so hopefully it's going to be a bit easier to learn and apply color theory with that medium. I named this wizard Wiz Wiz because I like saying Wiz Wiz. Wiz Wiz, Wiz Wiz. Also, it's impossible to say Wiz Wiz without smiling. I haven't had an OC in at least 3 years, basically since I was last active on DeviantArt, but I think I might do more pieces with this Wiz Wiz guy just because I kind of grew attached to him over the course of the illustration and I like how he looks. I think he could be like a cool laid back kind of wizard. One thing I'm a bit disappointed about is his stubble. I wanted it to be darker than it ended up being in the final picture. I tried to do a bit of stippling to remedy that with my Micron, but what I should have done is use a colored pencil on top and darken it up that way. Another thing I'm not a fan of is the background. Gray squares aren't really original. I've been trying to incorporate more backgrounds into my pieces and this is kind of a setback. Initially I was going to do a kind of forest setting, but I was scared that the greens would ruin the limited color palette I had going on, and I only had very saturated greens, so I didn't want to risk it. I wussed out and I settled on a gray background. If or when I do more pieces with Wiz Wiz in it, they'll definitely have a more complicated background. I'm thinking something like his super messy wizard room, or a forest where he's gathering frogs to make some kind of potion. Something like that. Could be cool. Anyway, do you like fantasy? And why do you like fantasy? I try to think of the reason I like fantasy, and it's like a cloud of ideas and messy concepts come up in my brain, and I just can't make sentences to explain why I like it. It's really strange. Oh, and if anyone has recommendations on any fantasy books, comics, movies, I'm always looking for more of those because I feel like I don't have any anymore. Okay, since this video is ending, I'm gonna say thank you so much for watching. If you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe. I post new art videos every Friday. Bye!